going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and I wanted to make a quick video. I just got done watching the NFC Championship game between the Rams and the Niners. Obviously, the Rams just won. The reason why I want to make a video is to briefly talk about it, but which it was a really good game, but also I want to apologize because I was supposed to do a live stream for the AFC Championship game earlier, but it started at noon my time, and unfortunately, I've been having an issue with my alarm on my phone ever since my last update on the phone, like the software update. Something happened because my alarms have just been like hit or miss. Sometimes they'll go off, sometimes they won't, and it just kind of is what it is. So, I've been trying to deal with that. I'll usually set, like, if I have to get up for something, I'll set like 4 alarms, and even sometimes then it doesn't even decide to go off. So I do apologize for that. I wanted to do a live stream, but I will be doing for sure a live stream for the Super Bowl. Obviously there's nothing next week except for the Pro Bowl. I don't know if I'm going to watch that. Maybe I will, though. Maybe I'll make up for missing this week by doing a live stream for the Pro Bowl. But anyway, so one more time, I apologize for that, but it is what it is. So I do want to talk about this a little bit, obviously, just briefly. And, I'm going to do another video. I'm going to do a playoff update, and a draft position update video, an official one, where I actually show you everything, and I'll do my pick, because I want to think about who do I think is going to win, Rams or Bengals, because obviously the Bengals beat the Chiefs. The Bengals upset the Chiefs today, and they're going to the Super Bowl. So, I want to think about that. I'll make that video probably Wednesday, but just real quick, obviously this now means that the 49ers are out. We're expected to have an interview with Mike McDaniel this week. And it does stop our pick from dropping any further, and we do now officially have the 29th overall pick in this upcoming draft. I personally would love to get a running back of some kind, a Breece Hall, Isaiah Spiller, Kenneth Walker, right? Any of those guys. I am actually very soon going to start beginning my research and organizing my stuff for my upcoming free agency videos, draft videos, and stuff like that. So I am going to be getting into that really soon. So make sure to check for that over the coming weeks. I'm going to start, going by. First, I'm going to take a look at the Dolphins' current roster. I'm going to go by position. I'll probably actually do that all in one video. I'll just actually take a, big look at the entire Dolphins roster, see where we stand currently. And then obviously I'll do it position by position. And then throughout the, next couple months, I'm going to go through and I'm going to do free agency position by position. I'll do individual videos for, at that point for sure though, cause I'll do a video for, like offensive line, and then I'll probably do one for the offensive line, but obviously you have tackles, guards, center. So there's going to be a lot to talk about. And then, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and then, defensive linemen, which I'll probably break that up into, tackles and, edge rushers. And then, but it also kind of depends on who's going to be, the coach and who the staff is going to be. Now, we do somewhat expect that the defensive staff will probably stay the same. So, if that's the case, then there's a good chance that we will remain with that hybrid 4-3-3-4 kind of defense with Boyer and all these other guys if they do remain, which could be the case if McDaniel gets hired. Maybe not so much if Harbaugh ends up getting hired, because apparently he is still in play. He's my dream scenario. As I've told you, I would be fine with McDaniel as a second option, and he was the top of my list for first-timers. But, we'll see how that plays out. So still a lot to kind of wait on. Hopefully this upcoming week we will actually have news on who the next Dolphins head coach is going to be. But yeah, anyway, so I am gearing up for all that anyway. So, I mean, that's kind of a wrap. It was a hell of a game between these two. Great NFC Championship game. Rams are going off. They're obviously going to be playing in their, home stadium, similar to how the Bucks did last year. You know, it's going to be fun. It's going to be an interesting time. Obviously, Joe Burrow and the Bengals make it. There's obviously that whole conversation now about how, you know, Dolphins, they really, I mean, there's been reports out about the Dolphins wanted Joe Burrow. We know that. I mean, from what I've heard, you know, talking with other people and so on and so forth, it seems as though Deshaun Watson was actually the number one choice, because apparently they were trying to investigate that situation with Deshaun Watson as far as back then around the 2020 draft and before the 2020 draft, because, you know, apparently it was starting to get out that Deshaun Watson wasn't happy there, et cetera, whatever. So, you know, apparently Watson was plan A, Burrow was plan B, and Tua was plan C. But we know that, you know, Stephen Ross liked Burrow. We know that they were tanking for the number one pick in that draft. Obviously they won 5 games, but to be clear, because, you know, a lot of people are saying that, you know, the Dolphins fucked up the tank. And look, I was never in favor of tanking to begin with. I think it's a stupid, foolish, and exceptionally risky approach to take, especially in the NFL. And I would never do it because of that, and because it's a philosophy that actively gets you to support losing for your team, which I can never do. So I never liked it to begin with, and I told people for 3 years that this organization was going to fuck it up, which they proved me right. But to be fair, though, in that season, it wasn't Brian Flores who fucked up the tank and screwed up the tank, because he tried 100%, not just with how he helped to build that team and that roster, you know, purging the roster, et cetera, fielding a team that is lacking in competitive nature, but also, as I have said, there seems to be plenty of evidence, and I've documented it here on my channel. You could go back and watch my videos there. I've talked about it time and time again. I think there was plenty of evidence, just like this year, to show that he was intentionally sabotaging the team. Although, for different motives in 2019 than in 2021. In 2019, it was because they were tanking. In 2021, I believe it was because he was trying to sabotage Tua, and that's why he held the defense back, etc. Anyway, I don't want to go on too much of a rant there, but just to be clear and to be fair, I actually don't think it was Brian Flores' fault for quote-unquote fucking up the tank in 2019 and not being able to get the first overall pick. I think that was, as I have said consistently, the only reason why we won 5 games in 2019 was because of Ryan Fitzpatrick, his leadership / gunslinger mentality, and his ability to read defenses, right? His 16 years experience, coupled with the fact that that was a super young team of a whole bunch of nobodies who were playing for their careers, their contracts, their families, right? Their dream to play in the NFL, et cetera. Everybody knew that the Dolphins were tanking. So they're playing, if not to stay on the Dolphins roster, to go somewhere else, right? So to be fair to Flores, I don't believe it was his fault. But there is that conversation. Obviously, Burrow. Look, the Bengals just did it better. They have a way better infrastructure. Yes, I get it. They have Burrow, and he's phenomenal and all that great stuff, and that's wonderful. But they also gave him, well, I mean, again, the offensive line still does need improvement, but everything outside of that has been good. They got a good run game. They got good receivers. They got a good defense. So, and their offensive line certainly wasn't anywhere near as bad as ours. It wasn't dead last in the fucking league. So I would expect that they're probably going to invest in that both in free agency and in the draft, right? But either way, they did their rebuild properly. They obviously have a better coaching staff and organizational infrastructure that doesn't have an ungodly amount of drama, toxicity, and dysfunction like the Miami Dolphins do, right? And that's why I didn't have any faith in this organization executing the tanking philosophy to begin with, because this is just same old Dolphins of dysfunction, drama, toxicity, right? And then you added, and I told people, Flores is only going to create a very toxic environment here, or add to it rather, I suppose, because of how he goes about his business, and lo and fucking behold. So anyway, you know, it is what it is. At this point, you know, I think hey, listen, I mean, the two candidates that we're going to be bringing in, well, look, we have the 29th overall pick. That is what it is. They traded away ours to the Eagles. Look how that turned out. They have the 15th. We have the 29th. I knew the Niners were going to make it to the playoffs, but admittedly, they did make it a couple rounds further than I expected. But, you know, look, we got the 29th overall pick. There is, particularly on defense, a lot of, you know, young, budding talent on this roster. And if I'm still not, you know, super huge on having another first-time head coach, but if we do not manage to get Jim Harbaugh, then Mike McDaniel is a solid backup option for me and definitely the top of my list for first-time head coaches. So and he'll certainly have my 100% support, and I think that it will be a solid hiring. Again, just one more time, the only reason why Harbaugh is really the only guy that I would really get super excited for is not just because of his experience and his pedigree, both in college and in the NFL, not just because he's got a Rolodex and I have a lot of confidence that he can build a proper staff, and not only because this is not going to be his first rodeo, right? Like, he's actually done this before as a head coach in the NFL, ironically enough for the 49ers. But the biggest reason is because I actually think that Stephen Ross will give him full control and he will be able to run the show properly. And he'll be able to, you know, direct Chris Greer properly. Because again, for me, Chris Greer, he's a follow the leader, follow the head man in charge kind of GM. And whatever boss man tells him is what he does. And he just now, to some degree, that's what a GM should do, execute the vision of the head coach. But, you know, because there's also this debate about, should we give this next head coach a lot of power? The only one that I would say that for a yes is Jim Harbaugh, because he's the only one that I could feel confident that he would do the right things, make the right moves, and it would keep Stephen Ross out of it. Is he Jerry Jones in the level of involvement that he has? No, of course not. But when he does get involved, he fucks things up. And so I want him to stay out of it, and I would love for once for him to actually get the hire correct too. So it's going to be interesting, a very interesting offseason next couple weeks. You know, it looks like at this point, it's probably either going to be Jim Harbaugh or Mike McDaniel. So look, man, I'm going to be either way. I mean, to be completely fair and completely honest, and because I also like to be consistent, the track record of this Dolphins organization, even if Jim Harbaugh does become the next coach, we just have a way of fucking everything up. So I'm going to be cautiously optimistic either way. But having said that, if either of those guys become the next head coach of the Miami Dolphins, I will say, as one of the most pessimistic Dolphins fans in this community, and I think rightfully so, not because I'm a hater, but because it's just the reality of this team and the facts and the data that we have, their track record, etc. I'm going to be cautiously optimistic, and there is going to be some room for optimism and some potential going forward. And maybe finally, for the first time, we can end the dysfunction and the chaos and the bullshit and the toxicity and the drama, etc., etc., etc. So, anyway, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. I did just want to pop in here again. Sorry for not doing the live stream today. That's my bad, and you know, I'll try and be better. I don't know. Hopefully there's going to be a new update soon to fix it. Cause I swear to God, I promise I'm not just like shooting shit here and fucking blowing smoke up your ass. For some reason, after the latest update, cause it's happened to me now on multiple times, and like I've been watching it super close. Something's up with those alarms. Hopefully I'll get it sorted out. But luckily I don't usually have too many things that require me to set an alarm. So, it's not usually that big a deal, but I'll make sure to work around it. I'll figure it out. There's really only a couple more opportunities this season anyway to do live streams. I'll have to try and figure something out for the off season. I'll obviously be making videos, although my live streams will probably end once the Super Bowl is over, unless I can figure out ways to do some collabs. Obviously open to that. If anybody out there wants to do any collabs with me, definitely get down with that. Talking whatever, free agency, draft, any team in the NFL, it's fine. Let's do it. So whoever wants to do anything out there, if you watch my show. Anyway, yeah, but there is going to be plenty to talk about, obviously, with the offseason and things developing. And it should be heating up because, like I said, we should have our coach this upcoming week. I would think we should have word on who it's going to be. So let's just keep our fingers crossed. Let's hope they do get the right guy. And hopefully there will be some legitimate room for actual optimism for the future of this team and this organization. So anyway, with that, I'm not going to keep circling back around to say the same things that I've now said probably about 5 times each in this video. Again, sorry for not being here, but I will be doing a live stream for sure for the Super Bowl. Probably at this point, I'll make up for this one and do one for the Pro Bowl too, even though that game's really kind of just, fun and it doesn't really mean shit. And oftentimes the players don't even go at 100%, right? But anyway, with that, let me wrap this up. Before I get out of here, make sure you check out the Rave On Sports App, the new fan-driven sports app for all of your sports, whether it be basketball, baseball, football, college, whatever you like, they got it. And they are looking to enhance your game day experience with live play-by-play coverage, live chats with other fans and content creators like myself, while also providing you an arena to dispute all of the terrible officiating, which continues to persist throughout all of these leagues. So make sure you look for the links to that in the description box. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you guys appreciate my perspective. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comment section. And of course, as always, follow me on Twitter at DillonTartaro, as well as on Instagram at Dolphins_with_Dillon. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.
7-7 will throw it. This will end it after the shovel. No good. Brown circling, holding down. Gronkowski didn't have any go. Touchdown. Miraculous in Miami. Stills to Parker to Drake. Henry Hook off the field. Miami wins it.